All right. Got a new episode here. I think this is season 2, episode 8. I was looking at all the older episodes and I'm really bad with keeping up with that, but I think this is episode 8. So
How many episodes were in season 1?
oh,
Sorry, I didn't mean to put
no,
you
it
on
was
the
like
spot right off
20
the
and
bat.
some shit. It was like 20 or something like that. It was a lot. And then I did some with Jay. Then with the COVID shit, it's like we didn't do stuff for a while. So I stuck with, I think this is I think it's episode 8. I'm pretty confident. But this is your first video episode, Justin. So
Yeah, it is. I think I've been on 2 or 3 other ones from the first season.
you've been there a lot,
Maybe more than
but
2 or 3.
maybe guested on, several. But yeah, no, I mean, the reason we're doing this one is because it's all your fault, Justin. So you're the one that started the top 10 guitarists and
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mean it to be like top 10. Obviously, you can put whatever the hell you want.
Mhm.
I think is his name Don McNair, and I think he was drummers or bass players. He's like, this is impossible. And
Yeah.
who cares? Because I know you showed me and now your honorable mention list, and it's basically 6 lists tacked onto your top 10.
I mean, that's what made it fun. It was like every time I wrote somebody down, and even my top 10 that I posted in the group, I was like writing them down here, and I thought, man, I don't know, like, because I was forgetting somebody over on my honorable mention, and I'm like, they're a little more. So I don't.
Yeah, yeah, I gotcha.
But are you doing there, Arn?
Yeah, tell everybody what you're smoking, dude.
Huh?
Tell everybody what you're smoking.
I'm smoking a Macanudo Inspirado. It's a Maduro.
Long and dark.
Yeah, it's a Robusto. Never had it before. It's really good. I really, really like it. Nice and full flavor, but yet smooth. Not too peppery.
Yeah.
It was hard to draw. Had to put a nice long hole in it to get a good draw out of it.
Yeah, for everybody that didn't see, Arnie had like a 4-foot long bamboo stick that he shoved in his cigar. That was funny.
But yeah, you got your Arn, you got your 10 plus. You said you only had one honorable mention?
Yeah.
Whatever else if you want. Your list is what, straight metal? Yeah.
Yeah, straight metal.
Okay.
And I'm not a real big, I'm a bass player. I prefer bass over guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of these guys are going to be mentioned as rhythm guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
I like the riffs they write more than the solos. I don't listen to a lot of solos unless they really jump out at me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine, man.
Other than number one, my number one has been gay for him since I was a kid. So, and he's just, noodle lord.
Well, I guess we just start with you then, if you want to.
Yeah, Arnie.
Okay. Well, this is my number one. Yngwie Malmsteen.
There you go. That's a good album too.
Yeah, I picked albums that were my favorite out of the guitar players that I picked. I used to have the trilogy. I bought trilogy when it first came out, and that's how I got hooked on Malmsteen. And I grew up. Not many people noticed it. When I was a kid, we lived with my grandmother, and she was a proper English woman. And we would have tea every day. And we would go to this room that didn't have anything in it other than a piano, sitting chairs, and a record player. And while we're having tea, we'd listen to classical music. So I grew up just listening to mostly classical music. And so when I first heard Malmsteen, I was like, wow, this is the one dude that I can listen to that brings in all this classical music that I loved as a kid. There was the first symphonic sounding stuff when I was a kid that I came across. Mm-hmm. And I just love that shredding, noodly arpeggio, all over the neck guitar style. Guy's an asshole. But I love the way, I love it. And not just his solos, but I really, really like his rhythms that he writes too.
Mhm.
I wish would he kept himself out of the vocal thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he's thinking with that. His vocals are atrocious.
I did buy that shit, I don't know where it's at. I did buy that newest one of his that was I think just blues standards that he did, but he does the vocals on them. And he's not horrible vocally, but it's, you know, when you have as big of an ego as he has, like he doesn't want anyone else, you know, to be at the forefront of that, at least anymore. And I know a lot of the newer live stuff I've seen, like his band is just kind of like back in the corner and it's just him out front. So it's the guy's a trip, but
well, he's talented. I mean,
he's always had really good vocalists.
yeah. Who's on that album? I know he's had Jeff Scott Soto, Mark Bowles.
Yeah, this is Bowles, I believe.
That I think is isn't Cozy Powell on that? Isn't that he like?
Yeah, Cozy's on this.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the last albums, or if not, that he was on before he died.
Yeah, and it's why can't I find the vocals?
How old do you think he is now?
Late 50s, I would say. He was young, man. He was like really young when he came out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he influenced so many metal guitarists. I mean, it's insane. I mean, that's like the best of the best. They grew up listening to him.
Oh yeah, I mean
whether they be popular guitarists or not really. I mean, like even like obscure people like Buckethead like worship Malmsteen.
Yeah, so. This is an incredible live album. I mean, it's disgusting, man. I mean, his playing.
The one thing I remember about this when I bought it, I wanted to know who was on it. It's not listed anywhere on the CD.
Yeah,
that's you got to go into Discogs to look at it.
They don't list any of the musicians on the entire album. It's just Malmsteen.
That's still fucking gay, but whatever.
But I think this is Mark Bowles. I don't know. You lose track of him. I loved the two albums that Ripper was on. Ripper Owens from Akron, Ohio. Man, he reeled himself in and did a proper Malmsteen style vocalist instead of doing all the Halford stuff.
Yeah.
More of his laid back vocals, and I really dig those albums. I wish he would have kept him.
Does he still have that bar restaurant down in, how long ago did that?
It's been, I think it's something else now. I don't even know if it's still open, but that's when
he was in Priest, and then
he had one. No, this is like after he had one on Waterloo Road, and I think it was called.
Wasn't it Ripper's Tavern?
Ripper's Rock House or something like that. And then I went there to, I was there a couple times. I went and saw LA Guns once.
Is that where you saw somebody's pubic hair right in your face, or is that Darren?
No, that was when I saw the original lineup of LA Guns got back together in the late 90s. So it was Kelly Nichols, Mick Cripps, Steve Riley, Phil Lewis, and then Tracy Guns. And I was right at the old Peabody's in the Flats.
Yeah, I remember the old one.
Yeah, and so I was right up front, and Tracy Guns, you know, who's an incredible player, he came out and he had no shirt on. He's covered in tattoos. You know, he had his guitar playing. He's got these super tight leather pants on. And when he lifted his guitar up, they were buttoned, but it was fucking unzipped.
Oh,
and they were so tight that the zipper was like struggling. It was like, and his pubes
dilating,
and his pubes were hanging out. And this guy next to me that I was standing every time Tracy went up to, like, you know, cut a riff or a solo, this guy next to me would like reach up and grab a pube and fucking pull it. And
oh my God.
Jump.
Oh shit.
And he would look at me every time. Like, it ain't me, dude. I'm not grabbing your shit. It's this guy. But yeah.
Wow.
I don't know where I was going. Oh, it was Ripper's Rock House. No, that's where we saw Eddie Trunk.
Oh, your famous run-in with him and the
Yeah.
UFO and all that.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that?
My favorite debut album is Phenomenon. And I went up there and I was like, debut? I'm like, that's the fucking, if you count the live album, that'd be the fourth.
Yes,
So
exactly.
UFO 1, then UFO Flying, then Live, then Phenomenon. And he was like,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's what I think is the debut. And I was like, oh, well, that
doesn't matter. I'm sorry.
And then he came up to me like out of the blue and started arguing with me about Bon Jovi. I was like standing at the bar talking to my cousin because her boyfriend was the bartender at the time. And we were just like shooting the shit. And then all of a sudden he came up and just started, hey, the really interesting thing about John Bon Jovi. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he got pissed because I was like, yeah, the dude sucks now, man. Like he's for like it's crappy.
Yeah, it's
like housewife rock. It's garbage.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But that's.
Weren't you talking to Florentine or something? And then
he was. No, it was Don
McNair.
Don Jameson. Yeah, Don Jameson was actually like we were talking about Vital Remains and shit.
Yeah, well, he's into extreme stuff like that.
Yeah, but no, Malmsteen is. See, it's fucked up. There's so many honorable mentions. He's not even on my. He should be. That's why it's like it's crazy because I'm like sitting here trying to figure out all these people, but that's his number one. So,
yeah.
Do you have him in order, or are you going, or you just don't give a shit? You're just naming off 10, or is that your number one of all time?
Me. Yeah. Well, like the first 5 are in order, and then after that they can be moved around. It doesn't really.
Okay.
But you have like a top 5, I would say.
But that's your number one, right?
Yeah.
My number one, absolute number one favorite guitar player.
Okay, cool. You're next, Justin.
All right, mine is Mick Ronson. Suffragette City is my favorite song of all time, any genre of music. This is probably the Moon Age Daydream on the solo on Moon Age Daydream on this album. This is the Hammersmith album. It's their last live show. That's my favorite live solo of all time, not studio, obviously. Studio is Maggot Brain, but we'll get into that. But my favorite guitar player, I like the solo stuff too, the Bowie stuff. I like the Ian Hunter stuff, Mott to Hoople touring, obviously. He was a Jeff Beck clone, obviously, like anybody in England, especially were big Jeff Beck fans. I mean, he was kind of like the number one favorite guitar player for classic rock guitar players.
What do you think about
that? Well, see, his solo stuff is it's pretty good. It's not as good as the stuff that he was in, like with Mott the Hoople, Ian Hunter, or David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
Only After Dark is my favorite song on that album. But this is something interesting. This was put out by Easy Action Records. This is a collection of stuff that was never really featured, and it's old. It's from probably 76. It's when he was basically not like producing records or being a tour guitar player. He was doing this kind of stuff, and then later after this is when he started playing with Ian Hunter, I believe. They released that album in 78, I think. It's an Ian Hunter Mick Ronson album. It was pretty good. But he's my favorite guitar player of all time. The crunch tone is like it's insane, and the overdrive is really, really loud, and it's the buzzsaw sound effect, but it's from 1972 and 73. So it's really it's the earliest like I've ever heard of that. It's like apples and oranges, black metal buzzsaw towards this kind of stuff sound, but it's comparable, and it's crazy because it's it's not evil music. It, you know, it doesn't evoke anything. It's just really loud. And he liked to mess with his equipment, and he liked to take advantage of technology and stuff like that at the time. And so he's my favorite guitar player of all time. Obviously, not the most technically skilled guitar player. Most of mine aren't. I go for like rhythm and riffs over massive, you know, crazy Satriani layered solos and stuff. I mean, if that was the case, then all those guys like Malmsteen, Satriani, Steve Vai, you know, all those amazing, like, you don't like Buckethead, those guys that you don't, it's impossible to like comprehend how they can do all that.
Mhm.
My list is basically like really soulful, emotional players. So that's my number one player.
That record the record that Kip held up.
Yeah, Slaughter on 10th Ave.
He looks like Mickey D.
He does. You know who he also looks like? Randy Rhoads.
Oh yeah.
Randy Rhoads was that when Randy Rhoads saw. There's this story about when Randy Rhoads saw him at the Santa Monica show.
Just look at the hairdo, Arnie.
Yeah, I mean,
that's straight.
Yeah,
But
that's
the story of Santa Monica. That's when he saw him.
yeah. Him and so Randy Rhoads was at that Santa Monica show, and he was like, he openly talked about like, he's like, this is who I'm going to model myself after. And obviously, Randy Rhoads is 10 times a better guitar player than Mick Ronson, but that was like one of his major idols. And so was I think Mick Ronson was the favorite guitar player for the original guitar player and the lead singer for Def Leppard. They were at that Hammersmith show in London, that one record I pulled up. And
yeah, Joe Elliott and
Joe Elliott, the lead singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Joe
Elliott actually
Arnie, the guitar player Def Leppard that died. Steve Clark. Is it him? Is it Steve Clark or was it Pete Willis? Probably Steve Clark, I'm guessing, if he was at the show with Joe.
Yeah, it's just Joe Elliott talked about how it was like his favorite guitar player and musician, and whoever the originally guitar player was for on the first Def Leppard record, whoever that was. In fact, Joe Elliott actually helped. He helped do something with this little documentary about Mick Ronson. It's called Beside Bowie. It's released on Blu-ray. It's pretty cool. It's still a lot to do with Bowie, but it is what it is. I mean, if there was no Bowie, there really wouldn't be much of a Mick Ronson. People know of, you know. So, and he was quiet anyway. There wasn't a lot of footage on him and stuff like that. So, but Joe Elliott helped either produce or do something with that little documentary / movie. So it was pretty cool. I have it on Blu-ray.
Very good.
Who's your number one dickbag?
I think you could probably guess, Justin.
Can I? Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Alvin Lee. Yep. Yeah, I thought so. Yep. One of the biggest stoners in rock music ever.
This is grew up listening to his playing. You know, when I was a kid, my parents bought me the Woodstock box set. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I remember seeing the Woodstock documentary with the footage of him shredding.
Yeah.
I mean, Hendrix was great. He's amazing. Page is amazing.
Yeah.
But when it came to like to me, Alvin Lee kind of took that Chuck Berry shredding, you know, that fast guitar playing, and he just ran with it. And his blues playing is, to me, second to none. I mean, his vocals were great.
Oh God. Yeah.
The live shit is like just out of this world. He passed away about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
He would have been almost 80 at this point.
I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah, I think he was like 68 or 69 when he died. So yeah, he'd be pushing his, you know, up in his late 70s. But
dude, his bass player 10 years after, whoever the bass player was in a lot of that live stuff that you can see on YouTube, dude, unbelievable. Everybody in that band was talented. It's insane.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. It just, that band was just insane. I mean, just absolutely insane. Leo Lyons was the bass player.
Yeah.
But
well, they could play boogie. They mastered boogie. They mastered blues. They mastered just
psychedelic.
Yeah.
I mean, this album, they have an album called Stonehenge. I mean, this album is just, it's disgusting. I mean, the songs on it, his playing is so underrated. And you hear, I mean, look at it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So awesome, dude.
What year did that come out?
Oh Jesus, 69. Yeah, back in the day when these bands would release like 9 albums a year.
Yeah, and each album was only like 38 minutes.
Yeah, and they were all good.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, I got an early best of comp from them. I think you might have the same one.
Just with him on it, says Alvin Lee and Company or something.
I can't remember, but it's awesome. It's just so good. But again, it's only like 30 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But at least every song is great. And
no matter what mood I'm in, I can always throw on some 10 Years After and just blast it. And I mean, his playing is just, it's so crisp.
Yeah.
So fast. And like I said, to me, he was like one of the first shredders, kind of like Blackmore. And,
yeah,
I always like him, but he was just monstrous. So that's my number one.
Excellent. Arnie, you got a number 2, buddy?
Yes, I do. My number 2 is Chris Broderick, Jag Panzer, Megadeth, Act of Defiance. I never heard of him until I heard him on Jag Panzer's albums. And he just blew me away. I just love his style. It's melodic, but yet still got a shred to it, but it's more like the sweeping type stuff. Not as crazy as like Jeff Loomis type sweeping stuff, but very tastefully done. He played to the music, which is what I liked about it. Instead of just going crazy and just all over the fucking place, he actually, you could tell he sat down, worked out his solos to fit the music.
Is he on Peace Cells or no? Or is that
no, later
on?
I don't even know. I hate Megadeth, so I don't even. Well, here's a funny story. When I was in a band called Vengeance Within, we opened up for Act of Defiance. So it was Drover on drums, and then Broderick on guitar, and the singer from, oh shit, I can't remember, but the bass player for Shadows Fall. And so we were there early. So I took all my Jag Panzer albums that he played on to get him to sign them. So I got them all signed. He signed the covers of them and stuff. And he said, so none of the Megadeth stuff? I'm like, oh God, no. He's like, I hate Megadeth.
There's only one Megadeth album I listen to. It's Peace Cells. That's the only one.
I listened to the first 2, and the rest of them I could care less. And he was super nice guy, super great guitar player. The shit he did on Jag Panzer was amazing. I heard the stuff that he did with Megadeth. I don't think it's as good as the stuff he did with Jag Panzer. I think they gave him more freedom.
Mm.
You don't have some egomaniac other lead guitar player who's gonna.
Yeah. Dave Mustaine, an egomaniac? Huh. Man, I've never.
Yeah. Somebody here has firsthand experience of that.
But if you haven't heard Broderick's playing, I would grab the Casting the Stones, Jag Panzer's Casting Stones, Mechanized Warfare. They're all great albums. Staying to the Throne are really, really great albums with him on it. This is my personal favorite, though. So yeah, Chris Broderick would be my favorite.
I saw Jag Panzer live with Chris Broderick. I don't know what album it was on. I just remember the one thing that I remember, A, they were absolutely unbelievable. B, Harry Conklin was so good. And he kept doing I God, what's the song? Is it some Metal Viper or I can't remember the song, but he kept doing the snake thing to people in the front row. But Mark Briotti had braces.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he smiled, and
Racist.
we were like, this guy's like in his like mid to late 30s, and he had braces. He's
Better late than never.
And Mark Riotti, that's an honorable mention for me. He's an amazing guitar player himself.
Yes.
He writes some great songs. I'm friends with him on Facebook, and like the first time he responded to something I had written was really cool. It wasn't like, and I was like, I got all girly. I was like, oh God, Mark Riotti.
Yeah.
What the hell? This guy's a legend. Why does he give a shit about what this retard is saying on Facebook?
Well, I'm gonna go with all of these other. Alvin Lee's my number one. All of my others are interchangeable. So
yeah, same here.
But if there was somebody that would be a number one, close to a number one for me, it would be Homeboy.
Word.
Just
is Van Halen 1? Are you burned out really on Van Halen 1? Because I think 1 and 2 are the best, and I try not to be that guy, with only the early stuff, because I like, what is it, 1984?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. I like some of that stuff too.
Well,
are you burned out on 1?
No, I'm not burned out on any of them. Maybe save Diver Down, because I think that album there's some good stuff on it, but some really shitty stuff on it. It's something I never not understood that album. But Women and Children First, this is my dad's copy.
That's cool.
From when I was a kid, and I listened to it every night after we had dinner. I would be like, yeah, I'll do the dishes, and everybody would leave, and I would blast, the Women and Children First, and it's so heavy, and his playing is so heavy, and he has that scoop, that the brown sound is what they call it. And you talk about somebody that nobody can sound like him, but everybody wanted to sound like him. And the Grammys were out recently. I guess I don't fucking watch that shit.
No.
But with as influential as he is, they only gave him 15 seconds. They were like, oh yeah, here's Eddie Van Halen. He died.
I mean, it shows you the state of everything and how fucked up music is. I mean, commercial music's been dead for a while.
Yeah, and but for me, it's like when he passed, I was like, it sounds stupid, but I was like pretty emotional about it, because it was somebody from my childhood,
Yeah.
Guitar hero. I mean, I never played guitar, but it's like everything about Eddie Van Halen, if it weren't for Eddie, I mean, there was obviously players before him, and each of them contributed, but there's certain moments in time, certain players, that if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have certain things after. Like if it weren't for Hendrix, people like that. Well, if it weren't for Eddie Van Halen, I mean, how many metal bands or hard rock bands would exist? Because he made guitar really, for me, like what it is. Like he was the lead guitarist, and everyone wanted to sound like him. And especially, in that whole Sunset Strip scene, everybody had a shredding guitar player, and there was a lot of great ones. Warren DeMartini from Rat, George Lynch, who gets better even to this day. I hear him play, and I'm just like, wow, Tracy Guns.
Do you think there was that big of a beef between him and Randy Rhoads, or is that just egos getting in the way slightly? Because he said some things about Randy Rhoads, like even posthumously, which was kind of, I don't know.
I don't know, man, because the Van Halens are, as much as I love them, I think that when you're that good, like Malmsteen and stuff, you tend to be super eccentric and probably kind of a dick in your own way.
Yeah.
and I think that probably rings true for a lot of people, a lot of artists and musicians. And, you hear stuff like that. And I mean, who knows? I mean, I think from what I heard from his son, Wolfgang, was Michael Anthony never made amends. He was never able to make amends with Eddie before he passed, but Sammy Hagar was. But
I didn't know there was a big thing between Michael Anthony and.
well, oh my God. I mean, it's like, you had David Lee Roth, then Sammy came in, and Sammy was gone, and you had Gary Sharon on one album from Extreme, who's a great singer, but the album is not good at all. It's their worst album by far. But then you had like Sammy back, and then Sammy and Dave tried to do a tour, but David Lee Roth is he's just a bumbling idiot. I can't, amazing frontman, but whatever. But it's just then Sammy was back in. I mean, it was ridiculous, but they got back together, and they got with David Lee Roth, and they took the picture from Van Halen 2, but they took Michael Anthony out and photoshopped Wolfgang in, and then put it on their Facebook or on their page. And that's how found out about it over the internet, because people were like, yo, dude. But I think there was a bad blood because he went with Sammy, and dude, there's so much drama with it, but it's just,
all I know is that voicemail that either I think you played it for me. The voicemail that it's
at the end of, have you heard that Wolfgang song? I mean, it is what it is. Wolfgang's super talented. They actually asked him to play Eruption at the Grammys, and he was like, I'm not doing that. Only my dad can play that. I'm not fucking doing that.
That's a good answer. I wouldn't do it either.
And so yeah, when it gets to the end of that and you hear that voicemail, but it is, I mean, the guy he had a big heart too. I think with Jason Becker, Jason Becker has Lou Gehrig's disease, and still alive, still plugging away. And I think what I read was up to the day he died, Eddie Van Halen, that he was still taking care of, like, helping Jason Becker's family out.
Yeah, wasn't he kind of a younger guy or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing a picture of, you might have posted it on the NAR group or Gnarcast webpage, and I did a little more digging in it. And it was a good story, I mean,
yeah, I posted a video of Eddie over at his house, and so, but yeah, he's up there.
All right, I'm do my number 2 then.
No, it's Arnie.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't do a number 2?
No.
Oh, I skipped over.
So I'm gonna go probably the first guitar player I really fell in love with, Jimi Hendrix. This is cool because it's not really like a studio album, or like an original album. I mean, it's not The Experience or Band of Gypsies or anything, but it's really cool. So if you want to check out, it's Midnight Lightning. And so my dad had a lot of promo stuff and stuff in the radio station. And, as a young kid, you're used to, when you hear rock and roll, you think of just white guys with long hair and all. So I saw Hendrix and I realized, wow, this is like old school stuff. And I started listening to it. And a lot of his solos are great. My kind of guitar playing, a lot of wah pedals and stuff like that. And ironically, my favorite Hendrix song is Crosstown Traffic, which has got like no solo in it or anything like that. It's just a really good song. But super influential. He let his rhythm section kind of go nuts when they wanted to go nuts, especially in live shows. I think Spanish Castle Magic which came out in 1967. It's off of Access Bold as Love. I think that's the first real stoner rock song. I mean, literally, it's just unbelievably how heavy. You know, there were a lot of loud bands that came out in the late 60s, you know, MC5 and stuff like that, but not heavy, like heavy, you know what I mean? So the Stooges were a loud band. But as far as heaviness, I mean, Hendrix, you know, Access Bold as Love, I mean, that came out in 1967. That's insane. I mean, a lot of those people, they were like mods and stuff like that back then. So I think it's really groundbreaking, and I don't really have a number two, you know, just it's like one, and then everybody else is amazing too. So
yeah.
Anyway, so
Excellent. No, I love him too.
So it's Arnie's number 3.
Let's go. Yeah, and we'll just, since I fucked the order up like an idiot.
So my number 3, Chris Poland.
Nice.
I first heard him on, you know, the first 2 Megadeth albums. I loved his guitar solos on Peace of Mind. Or
Peace out.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much you like Megadeth.
So then he you know, he left and he put out these really sweet, I think was there 2 of them? I know there was this one. I thought there was another one.
I don't know. I have, the only other thing I have with him on it is that Damn the Machine.
Yeah, this one here.
Yes.
So my buddy Brian Bertram was a big Chris Poland fan before I was. And, you know, I didn't pay much attention to guitar solos, and he would point stuff out to me. So I think he had this on cassette, and we would listen to it over and over and over and over again. And then when he came out with Damn the Machine, Bertram got into these guys big time before I did. And then
his brother's on that too, isn't it? Or
his brother's on here.
Okay.
But this is one of my favorite prog albums.
Yeah.
The album is so good. His guitar solos are just colorful. They're definitely, you hear it and you go, oh, that's Chris Poland. You know, you're just like, holy shit. And then he does this jazz project I love called Ohm. And Ohm is just ridiculous.
Kind of, is it like jazz fusion? Because I mean, I listen to all that.
Yeah, you would get, it's called Ohm. The bass player is phenomenal. Plays 6-string fretless. He's ridiculous.
Yeah, all those jazz fusion players, they're all fucking insane. It's ridiculous.
And then the one Megadeth drummer was in Ohm, and then he died. He died doing the gig with Ohm, right?
Shit.
Yeah, he died. I think he died on stage.
Yeah.
What do you have, like? He just like fucking have a brain hemorrhage or something?
Yeah, he was young too, and yeah. All right.
Yeah, if you like jazz with a metal tinge, but not, you can't really tell it's metal. Just, I think me going into it knowing that there was metal guys playing fusion, that I can pick up some metal tones to it. But yeah, Chris Poland is definitely my number 3 favorite.
Okay.
Like top 5 or 5, and then after that they're all interchangeable.
I mean, it's Chris Poland. Don't even. He's absolutely perfect. He's disgusting. his playing is the one thing about Mustaine is he's always had. You hate Megadeth, but you keep picking all these players, Arnie, that played with Mustaine. Broderick, Chris Poland.
I think Dave's got a really good taste. He knows what he wants in a guitar player. Like, I guess when he heard Broderick, someone turned him on to Broderick from the Jack Panzer stuff, and he said that Broderick was like his guitar soulmate and all this shit. So I don't know whatever went down with that relationship, but then, you know, Drover and Broderick quit the band.
Yeah.
The thing I heard was that he told them to go write a bunch of music, and then they wrote all this stuff, and he just shit on it. So they fucking quit and went out and put out all that stuff as Active Defiance.
Yeah, no. Well, now he has Kiko Lareo from Angra, And Kiko is, for me, probably right up there with Marty Friedman and Chris Poland as insane ability. I couldn't believe it.
Anger were insane.
Yeah.
All the just amazing musicians.
Yeah. And it's crazy that Dave keeps getting all these awesome players, and I don't know, man. We'll see what the new album sounds like, but I doubt it's going to be any. I enjoyed the last one, but Chris Poland, especially when Gar Samuelson was, on drums, and there was something that was so. I've always been Megadeth over Metallica. I think that Dave Mustaine is a better musician than anybody in Metallica. I think that he's a better guitar player than Kirk Hammett. I think that James Hetfield's rhythm playing is better than Hammett's lead playing.
Oh, hands down.
I think Kirk is annoying.
He just
first two albums, I love his guitar playing.
Honestly, I don't really mind Kirk Hammett on the first four albums, but then he got into that, wah pedal bullshit on the Black Album, and it just kind of went. Maybe he used it here and there prior to that, but I think it was really on the Black Album where it just got ridiculous. And
he's not good with the wah pedal.
No. And then you got Dave over here with Chris Poland, Marty Friedman, Chris Broderick, Kiko Loureiro. I mean, it's like.
Does the wah pedal really belong in thrash?
It worked on Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
I like the wall on the Kill 'Em All. Enough that other bands are starting to rip that off. The Cro-Mags Best Wishes album.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is his name? His lead guitar player. I can't think of his name right now.
Is it Holland?
Yeah, Doug Holland from Crowd. He started just doing all that. The first song, Death Camp, sounds like it came off Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
So Kip, you don't like the wah on the first albums? Do you not like the wah at all in Metallica, or you just don't like it?
No, it got to be like it's kind of like the guitar synth with Judas Priest, where they used it on Turbo, and it was okay, but then it just got ridiculous, and it was like fucking stupid, and
yeah,
it wouldn't. But yeah, Poland is a legend. The guy, and you see the guy now, and he looks like he'd be somebody's, teacher,
great grandpa.
and he plays fucked up. It's weird when on his fret hand, he plays like this, like his thumb is out front of the fret rather than like this. So he's like this when it's weird, but the dude is like crazy. Somebody, I saw a video from Nam, whatever that.
Yeah.
Not back in the day, not man.
Bunch of Charlies over by the drum station.
I seen him in Quezon back. But somebody he was playing the jazzy shit, and somebody was like, "Can you play, some shit off of Peace Sells?" And he's like, "Oh man, I haven't done it in a while." And he sat there and thought about it, and he was like, "Okay," and just fucking ran into it. And people were like, and he was like, I haven't played this in years. The guy's nuts. It's really good.
All right, so is it you or me now for 3? Okay,
we'll keep going. I fucked the order up. I'm gonna do one that I'm sure maybe we all have on our list. Who knows? Not for the lead playing, but for absolute fucking riffs.
Well, even the lead playing is good. It doesn't matter,
But
the riffs are what's more well known.
The riff
he's on my list too, so I might as well just knock it out.
And it's like I'll actually throw in one from I'll do two at once, because you got Iommi. What can you say about him? But then I'll put in one of my other favorites that it's like the US, the Black Iommi, and that's Boris the Third.
Iommi.
We're in a Sabbath cover band, Iron Man, and
just powerful riffs like bricks.
big, heavy riffs, but yeah, just like Iommi. And I don't think Sabbath has one bad album. I even like Forbidden.
Do you like Technical Ecstasy?
Yeah, I like
Never
them
Say
all.
Die. I think there's only two good songs on Technical Ecstasy: Backstreet Kids and shit, I can't remember the other one.
But I mean, Volume 4 is my favorite. I mean, the riffs on it, or I got
that's really cool. Yeah, if anybody like is thinking about getting that, it's got a really cool booklet in there, and it shows like all the 45s from each different country for the singles and stuff. It's really awesome.
But
whoever did the editing or put it together, it's really well done.
Yeah, because they did it with that, and they did it with Paranoid. His playing, dude, is every riff in metal is, to me, is just like he wrote them all, and then everybody just kind of recycled them and added stuff to them. I mean,
it's crazy. They were a 3-piece, basically. Ozzy doesn't play an instrument, and there's that cool clip of him playing some of the stuff off of Paranoid, and he was just like, he made the stuff heavy, not necessarily because he just wanted to be big, and it was out of necessity.
That's why I like a lot of the older stuff.
It's organic.
And
Black Sabbath is organic
because they weren't trying to do it; they just did it, and it was like, holy shit. But his tone, his riffs, up to the album that you showed there, Arnie, The Eternal Idol. I mean, the guy is. I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because, like, what can you say that already hasn't been said
right
8 million times over? So if you're a fan of heavy metal and you don't have Iommi on your list, then you obviously fist yourself and you don't know what you're talking about. Because it's.
Did Melissa hear that?
But yeah, so to me,
scratch that off of mine too, because he was on mine. So
yeah, he was on mine. But see, I'm not an older Black Sabbath fan. I didn't even like Black Sabbath until Dio joined the band. I don't like Ozzy's voice. To me, it was nails on a chalkboard. I love the music. I love Bill Ward's drumming. It's fucking nuts. Geezer's bass playing is.
Yeah. Duh.
But I would force myself to listen to those old albums because I would love Tony Iommi's guitar playing, Geezer Butler's bass playing, and Bill Ward's drumming. So I would tolerate Ozzy's vocals. And then when they got Dio, then I was like, oh, yes, they got a good singer. Then they got Tony Martin. I was like, even better. I mean, I like Dio, but something about Tony Martin's voice just hit it with me.
Mm-hmm.
And those era albums from the 80s, the riffs are different than the 70s Black Sabbath stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even different than Mob Rules and Heaven and Hell. It's like he shifted gears, but it was perfect. It was seamless.
Mm-hmm.
And and his solos I think got better in the 80s too.
Mm-hmm.
I think
he's a good solo. I mean, I like his lead playing, but it's like you just got to. His riffs are.
Right, so Iommi is on all 3 of our lists. They should be on everybody's list that listens to this podcast or watches it.
So you got. That was
I'm gonna go
3. What are you gonna do? Number 4 now? You just gonna do it, Justin?
Yeah, I'm going with Alex Lifeson. All my CDs are packed up in boxes because we're gonna be moving. But I love Rush. Caress of Steel is my favorite Rush album. When I was a kid, it was the self-titled album. I love Rush so much. Kind of like how Arnie is with Ozzy's voice. Geddy doesn't have a great voice. Obviously, even now, it's worse live. I've seen him plenty of times live, but it doesn't matter because he's so good at his instrument that whatever. And he has got an iconic voice. But Rush was one of the first bands I really fell in love with. I like the earlier stuff, which was, you know, hard rock, proto metal. I like the prog stuff. It's just, you talk about three people, four if you want to include John Rutsey. They all were masters at their instruments. I can't. Lifeson on the Necromancer and basically all of Caress of Steel is amazing. Anthem, which is off of Fly By Night, is amazing. So he's definitely on my list. And you know, it's kind of holds a little bit closer to my heart too, because when my dad was working at WMMS, like, they were the first radio station in America to really give them, you know, airplay. And like, to the point where on the back of the LP, of the first LP, I think they thanked two of the DJs at WMMS. So, you know, it's just one of those bands that you listen to when you're a kid and you never get tired of them. And, you know, even people that don't like rock and roll can appreciate how good, you know, all three of them were at their instruments. So definitely Alex Lifeson on my list.
I love Alex. He's amazing.
Yes.
What's next? Oh, we're on number 4, right?
I was waiting for Arnie. I know you said you had Alex on your honorable mention, so I was like, go ahead.
My honorable mention, but so we move. So who's next?
It would be me. Just keep going. Whoever. I'm gonna go with a guy that two different bands and changed my life, you know, when I was a kid. And I heard I actually got into one of his bands before another one, and it's Blackmore.
Yeah.
So I got into Rainbow first because of Dio, because I was a metalhead and I loved Dio, loved Rainbow, and then went back to Deep Purple. And I was, you know, I freely admit I was a complete idiot because for some reason, I couldn't stand Ian Gillan. I always laugh about it because I don't know why I didn't like his voice. It was so dumb, because like just one day I was like, man, this guy's fucking awesome. You know,
were you comparing him to other people or something?
Yeah, I can't remember. It's crazy. I know the one guy, buddy of mine that's, you know, in the group, Kevin, he worked at a record store, and I remember we would talk about it. He'd be like, you don't like Ian Gillan? I'm like, man, I don't.
Hold on. Is that the guy who would always say, you really should check out the album Fireball by Deep Purple? Is that same guy?
Yeah. He was always, and
every time if you like Deep Purple, you should check out Fireball.
I always say, yeah, check out Fireball. But it just clicked. But his playing is like Malmsteen before Malmsteen. Even though I watched an interview where somebody asked Malmsteen, is Blackmore your biggest influence? And he said, no, Jimi Hendrix is.
Oh, but he sounds a lot more classic. Yeah.
Well, but Blackmore's classic, you know, classically influenced. And so who knows? I mean, a lot of, and the funny thing is, a lot of Malmsteen's stage moves were very Hendrix or Blackmore, you know.
I read somewhere where he said that Blackmore was his favorite guitar player. I don't know if it was his biggest influence, but I remember him saying that Richie Blackmore was his favorite guitar player.
Yeah, who knows? This was an interview when that fucking wherever the box is, that Malmsteen, I think it's called Blue Lightning or whatever. I watched an interview with him when it came out, and somebody asked him about. So who knows? I mean, the guy's, like you said, he's kind of a blowhard nowadays.
Yeah, maybe nobody is his influence, you know.
But who knows? You know,
dead violin player.
Yeah, and but I mean, everything about his playing when he was in Deep Purple, when he left to, you know, when he went to Rainbow, I didn't like the fact that they kind of, you know, got rid of Dio and went with Graham Bonnet, and I think they wanted to do more kind of like straightforward stuff. But
doesn't Richie Blackmore play it? Doesn't he do something with his wife or something? It's like classical music or something.
what's her name, Candace or something?
It's called Blackmore's Night.
Yeah,
And it's like
minstrel music.
medieval minstrel music.
Yeah,
it's like Robert Fripp does weird stuff with his wife too from King Crimson. It's so weird.
I meant to tell you about that, Justin, because
What?
Robert Fripp and his wife, I think it's Toya or whatever.
Yeah, it's weird.
Got nice tits.
Oh yeah,
She's pretty.
Yeah, I mean they've been together forever, I guess. But I'm not a big King Crimson guy, even though some of the early shit you played for me, Justin, I thought was really, really good.
He's wacko. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Well, they both are.
Yeah.
The video, Justin, have you
What?
seen the videos of him and his wife doing cover songs?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you guys check it out.
Is it really is it bad?
I don't like her voice, but
I think they're corny, but
skin tight white shirt on, and her nipples are pointing out like fucking diamonds,
Yeah.
And all the people talked about was, oh my God, that
and he's just sitting there like
a 70-year-old chick with these amazing titties, and they're doing like Enter Sandman cover or some bullshit.
Yeah, she's on like a bike and she's singing like an idiot. Like, dude, it's so weird. And I mean, whatever, they're having fun. But now it's like they keep putting videos out, and the comments are fucking people are like, please, for the love of God, stop. This shit is awful. It's getting worse. But yeah, that's my Blackmore is the reason why Dio was so amazing to his fans was because of Richie Blackmore, because Richie Blackmore was such a piece of shit to people, and Dio was like, I'll never be like that.
That's good. I miss Dio. I mean, obviously never met him, but everybody knows how good of a guy he was.
Yeah, but this album is you can't even. This live album's amazing, and I love that they show you all the equipment that they use. Like, it's so awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, Richie Blackmore.
Too bad Stargazer isn't on that.
My absolute favorite Rainbow song.
Why is that not on that album? I don't get it.
I don't know, but you know what? You remember what band covered Stargazer?
Mundanus Imperium with Bjorn Landa on vocals. It was unfucking believable. People were like, "Oh, they did that. They fucked that up. They ruined." No, bullshit.
Awesome cover.
Awesome cover.
All right, so we doing. I guess I'll do mine next. Is David Gilmour? Pink Floyd's my favorite band.
It'd be Arn, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, he already went. Let him go.
All right.
This way. Keep messing it up.
You're like, whoa, man, what the fuck?
Yeah. I'm going David Gilmour. Pink Floyd's my favorite band of all time. I love prog. I love space rock. This is my favorite. It's a bootleg. You can't really find it anywhere. It's the Pompeii album, which is the live album. It's amazing. It just obviously just says Waters, Gilmour, Mason, and Wright. It doesn't, you can't mess with them. Their legal team is insane. So, but I love David Gilmour. I love the emotion he plays with. I love the pedals he used. I love the effects, everything. He was a pretty chill guy, I guess. So he's amazing. Pink Floyd is my favorite band. I also like some of his solo stuff. The first solo album, David Gilmour 1, is really good. Mihalis, No Way, those are really good songs, and short and sweet as well. So if anybody listening likes Pink Floyd and hasn't heard the first David Gilmour live album, it obviously I don't think it sold that many records or anything like that, but it was a really good album. So that's mine.
I would do a rock guitar player list. David Gilmour would definitely be in my top 5.
Yeah,
I love guitar playing. I listen to I know I burp.
Yeah, those chili dogs. For anybody that doesn't know, Arnie, please post the chili dogs on the Gnarcast or Gnarc group.
Those aren't even chili dogs.
What were they? Just cheese dogs?
They're hot dogs, but it's the ones that you can get from Sam's Club that they actually sell. Those fuckers are like this big around.
My dad goes there because they have senior discounts. Him and my stepmom go. They get dogs there.
Well, they sell those hot dogs where you can buy them in packages. It's right on the package, sold in Sam's Cafe now. They're like this fucking big around.
Can we all just admit that? Well, Cliff can't, but that all beef hot dogs are the best. I love all beef dogs. I mean, it's insane.
Arnie, I've known you for so long, Arnie, that I was like, okay, we're getting ready to do the episode. You're like, oh, I'm scarfing down dinner. And I told Justin, I was like, I guarantee you the whole time Arnie is going to be like.
Actually, the reason I'm burping is because when I smoke cigars, I like drink ginger ale with cigars. So that's what makes me burp. But I'm enjoying the burps because it tastes like those all beef hot dogs. They're so fucking good.
Seamlessly went from David Gilmour's plane to all beef hot dogs.
Sorry, that shows you.
But if I did an all rock guitar player thing, Gilmour would definitely be up there. On Animals.
Yes.
Different ones, all those. I like that's my favorite Pink Floyd album. I don't even like The Wall.
The Wall's pretty good, but it's the Animals. Animals is Animals and Obscured by Clouds. I was talking to Kip earlier. Those two are like interchangeable for me for my favorite Pink Floyd studio albums. So anyway. All
right. My next. All right. This is going to be a monkey and a wrench in the works here. Like I said, I picked all metal. And I absolutely love this guy's guitar solos. The other guy in the band, everybody thinks does the great guitar solos. And I don't think they really paid attention to the guitars, who was doing what solos until people started seeing them live or seeing VHSs of them. They're like, wait a minute. I thought so-and-so did that. And then no, it was the other guy. And that other guy is Michael Sweet. Striper. His fucking guitar solos, I personally think, are a million times better than Oz Fox. Oz Fox is generic shredding. And Michael Sweet, you can tell he uses his own vocal melodies and the rhythms that he writes and makes those solos just work. They're seamless.
Dude, he's so good, man.
I watched an interview. I can't remember when it was, probably the 80s. And he's flat out said he never wanted to be a singer. He just wanted to be a guitar player. But they couldn't find a singer that, well, number one, was like them. And could do what they want him to do. So he just said, fuck it, I'll do the vocals. But he considers himself a guitar player, not a singer.
Dude, I'm glad you put him on your list because I was just talking with a friend, Rob, the other day, who's also, we're all huge Striper fans. And I was listening to the newer Striper album and I just said, dude, Michael Sweet doesn't get enough kudos or respect for his playing. Like, he's vocally, the dude still sounds good and he can hit those notes, which is nuts, but his guitar playing is awesome. I mean,
everybody thinks, they remember the ballads, the fucking outfits, and their Christianity. It's like people won't even bother to look past that stuff. When I was a kid, my family was super, super poor. And so I didn't get to buy a lot of music. I had to go to the library and bring it home and listen to it for a week and take it back. So my mom had worked with some dude, and my mom was telling him how I was into all this heavy metal music. So the guy put on cassette the first few Striper albums. So I just had a cassette tape. I had no clue who they were, what they did, or what they sang about until I started really listening to the lyrics. And I just instantly fell in love with the guitar playing. And everybody was like, "Oh, it's Fox, oh, it's Fox." And then when you start buying the cassette tapes later on and the CDs or whatever, and you're like, "Holy fuck!" Michael Sweet wrote all of those songs. He wrote all those great guitar solos.
Mm.
Yeah, there's people out there. There was some guy on Facebook. I posted stuff about Striper. He was like, "I won't even give him a chance." He's like, because their Christianity just overrules it. So I can't listen to a band that doesn't believe in the same types of things. I'm like, so if you listen to Cannibal Corpse Butchered at Birth, and you're into killing babies, then what kind of dumb shit is that?
Well, it shows you like that music obviously is not like his main thing,
It was always funny to me because like Christians refused to listen to like Slayer and stuff, but then I knew Slayer fans that made fun of that shit, but then they were like, "Oh, we're not listening to Striper, it's Christian." I'm like, you're
Fucking
doing the same thing.
Yeah, they're just hypocrites.
It's like, just listen to it. Striper fucking rules, man. So does Slayer. And it's like, I mean, they're awesome. And I know not the last episode with you on, but the one before with Jason and Nick. I think Jason saw Striper in LA back in the day.
How old is he? Is he like Arnie's age?
Yeah, I think maybe like a year or two older.
Okay.
But yeah, Striper was always hilarious because they would throw those little Gideon Bible, and then they would go backstage and like snort coke off of some hooker's tits.
Well, supposedly not Michael Sweet. I know the rest of them were pretty crazy dudes, but Michael's always been a pretty straightforward guy. I remember watching a documentary in the 90s. They were filming some satanic group guys. I don't think it was Church of Satan stuff. That's some people calling themselves Satan worship. Oh, it was on MTV. Mm-hmm. And it was like people respond to or some shit like that, or react to. So they had a group of Satanists and they played Soldiers Under Command. And these guys all start going, "Fuck yeah, Striper, yeah." And these guys were like, you like Striper? And they're like, "Fuck yeah, it's great metal." Mm-hmm. Shit, what they're singing about is great fucking metal.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's Arnie. Have you heard the new track from that Sunbomb project with Tracy Guns and Michael Sweet's doing the vocals?
Is it the one that you sent me the link to?
There's a new one that just came out.
No, I haven't heard it yet.
Dude,
right?
It's so fucking old school 80s, just like kind of doomy, maidenish, but Michael Sweet is like up here the whole time, the whole song. And he's got that like long hair and it's like feathered. He's got a giant beard now. He looks so fucking cool.
Dude, I still got that Striper signed, Michael Sweet signed Striper, yellow and black attack. Fucking poster downstairs. I got to get a new frame for it and get it hung up. But yeah, love Striper. Love Michael Sweet.
So is it me?
Sure.
I'm going to go with the guy that his riffs are absolute pure sex. Everything about this dude. He makes every band that he's in, as far as I'm concerned, to one degree or another. And that is, I'll just pick up an album that he was on, but that's John Sykes. So this is one of my favorite live albums of all time. He was on Thunder and Lightning, which is the final studio album from Lizzie, which goes down as probably one of the greatest final albums of any band, in my opinion, ever. But John Sykes was in, Tigers of Pantang. He was in Whitesnake, made Whitesnake fucking awesome. Absolutely exploded Thin Lizzy when he was in that band. Blue Murder.
I was just about to say that.
Blue Murder with Tony Franklin, who I'm sure you love, Arnie.
Tony Franklin.
Amazing player, and Carmine Apiece. I love both of those albums, the self-titled, and then I think the second one's called Nothing But Trouble. but I think that album even absolutely smokes. And his playing is just unbelievable. But he's just like a fucking hermit, and you can't get him out. And he released a new song after, you know, years of him saying, "Oh yeah, I'm putting a new album out," and then nothing came out. And then he released a new song recently, and I thought it was awesome. It had this chunky riffs. I mean, it was just his signature sound. His vocals were good too. And I mean, back in the day, the guy was just like an Adonis. Everything, the giant fucking blonde flowing locks with like, that just shredding, amazing player, amazing vocalist. Um, so yeah, I mean, we'll see if he actually releases this album. I hope he does. But Thin Lizzy, Blue Murder, that self-titled Blue Murder, for anybody that likes bluesy hard rock, I don't think there's one person I know that doesn't like that self-titled Blue Murder album. It's so,
Right.
oh, it's so good, dude. It's like, and I know people that, I think even Kevin, that's always commenting, I think he's seen him, I don't know how many times. I got another friend, Rob, that's seen him, and I'm just like, oh my God, dude, I would absolutely love to see him. But the guy is amazing. Um, legendary, legendary riffs as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, it's all you. Get your yayas out.
Mick Taylor, obviously not Yngwie Malmsteen by any stretch of the imagination, but his solos are amazing. His rhythm is fucking awesome. I listen to the Rolling Stones so much; it's insane.
You think he's
I
better
love
than?
Mick Taylor.
You think he's better than
What's
Keith?
that?
You think he's better than Keith?
Oh God, yeah, not even close. Yeah. Um, I mean, I like Rolling Stones before Mick Ronson, Mick Taylor, and I like them after. I like the Ron Wood era because I like Ron Wood. I like the Faces.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely Mick Taylor. My second favorite studio solo of all time is Sway, which is off of Sticky Fingers. It's like a really short end of the song solo. It's just perfect. I mean, it's one of those songs where I like going onto YouTube and I like um, finding somebody covering it so I can see how it's kind of played,
Mm-hmm.
That's how much I love that solo. And I love Mick Taylor, and I know Rocky Dennis does too. So hopefully he's watching.
I fucking hate the Rolling Stones.
Really?
I fucking hate them. I wish Mick Jagger would have died in a motorcycle accident in the 60s. I fucking hate him.
Jeez.
I hate his vocals.
My favorite album.
What is that?
It's Goat's Head Soup.
Yeah, Stones, man.
The guy can't sing worth shit. I don't know. I just never could understand the attraction of the Rolling Stones.
That's black metal as fuck right there.
The devil.
I don't care.
I think there's two songs I've heard the entire time that I've ever heard of the Stones, and that's Paint It Black and Sympathy for the Devil. The rest of this shit, pure trash, in my opinion. I've never understood how they got big. The guy
I loved it.
He can't fucking sing.
It took me a while. Yeah, but to me, it's like Justin said, it's organic. So I like Alice Cooper. I like his vocals. Believe it or not, I like Bruce Springsteen's vocals. I like I like Neil Young's vocals. I don't think that they have to be like a Michael Sweet where it's like amazing. But
for me, there's a difference between sounding like Michael Sweet and being operatic and being technically good and just being horrible.
I don't know. I like his.
Oh,
yeah, I like him. But I mean, for me personally, it's the lead vocals have always been the backseat. I mean, it's always been more about the instruments. And
yeah, I do love the Rolling Stones drummer, but I like all this jazz stuff.
Oh, yeah. Charlie Watts.
Charlie Watts, yeah.
Love the Charlie Watts solo albums.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how old those guys were. I mean, like Bill Wyman is like I think my dad's old. My dad's born in 47, and like I think Bill Wyman was born in like 39 or like 35 or something weird. It's crazy. Yeah, he was like 25 years old in like the late 60s already. Like it was crazy. Yeah, so that's mine. So Arnie, you are up.
All right. The next few, none of these next five are really in any type of order. I'm just going to pull them up out of my stack and explain why I picked them. The next guy would be John Nodvit, or Nodvit, however you say his name, from Dissection.
Never figured out how to say his fucking name.
Is that the guy who killed himself in the Satanic Ritual?
Yeah.
Dude, he is fucking their guitar work, Dissection's guitar work is fucking insane, dude.
I still there's that Rebirth of Dissection DVD, and I watch it all the time, and I get fucking pissed because he killed himself because of how much fucking talent that guy had. He just wasted it. I understand that misanthropic Luciferian chaos order bullshit, whatever. But to have that kind of talent, the fucking solos he made, the fucking rhythms that he wrote, his fucking black metal vocals, it's like he didn't even have to put effort into it, and he sounded perfect. And so he's got to scream and fucking breaking blood vessels, and he just opens his mouth, barely puts anything into it. It sounds perfect.
Yeah. When did the first Dissection album come out? Early 90s?
I think it's 95 or 94, isn't it?
Cumberland? Yeah, I don't know the years. I'm not real good with that. And I can't read this
because I'm just trying to think because he died in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. So I mean, can you imagine like if you?
I know. Could you imagine what he could be putting out right now? That's what pisses me off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not even like, I mean, just like for the past, like, I mean, when did he die in like 2006 or something like that? I mean, that's 14, 15 years worth of stuff. And that's insane. So,
and he wasn't like the typical black metal guitar player. I remember reading an interview and they're like, Dissection doesn't sound a lot like the Norwegian style metal. And he's like, no, because we like melody and harmonies.
Yeah.
Like, and we think that can still just be as dark and sinister as the raw stuff is.
Yeah.
And I mean, the older I get, the more I appreciate how amazing he was at such a young age.
That's the fucked up thing, dude. They were so young and they were that good.
Yeah, I know.
They're a band that, I mean, for me, like getting into black metal like that much later on in my life, like I didn't grow up listening to them like you guys did. And for what I like in black metal, which is very raw, not lo-fi, not like where it's like obscenely lo-fi, bad mixed, but I like the rawer stuff. Dissection is a band that like, even for me, that somebody likes almost like only raw black metal, they're fucking amazing. Like you could put a gun to my head and I still wouldn't be able to lie and tell you that they're not amazing. You know what I mean?
No, it's a very, very good pick. The guy definitely is.
And if you really want to see his guitar work, watch that Rebirth of Dissection video. Now, mind you, he just spent, 7 years in prison?
Yeah.
He gets out, he writes a whole album. They do this tour, and he's literally not even looking at the neck of his guitar, and he's doing solos that, at my age, if I've been playing guitar this whole time, I couldn't fucking do. He's singing and doing this shit. Yeah. It's just pure talent. It just burns my ass.
Well, it's like, I mean, it's like Geddy Lee when he does, like, he could be like thinking of like baseball scores, but still be able to sing and play bass.
Yeah.
It's some people are wired. I think, honestly, God, I think some people are just wired differently. I don't know what it is. So,
well, I'll quickly, to piggyback off of Arnie's insanely talented people killing themselves too early. And I'll go one of my honorable mentions is Salim, the guitar player.
Yeah, ironically.
Absolutely his solos are just so good because he was able to meld like psych rock and just metal. And I mean, anybody that knows me, especially on the board that I'm on, they know how much I love the Devil's Blood, because I take my name Voodoo Dust after one of their tracks. But my next one that would be on my top 10 list is this guy right here, homeboy, John Christ.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah. I love his guitar solos.
Dude,
his
pinch
solos,
harmonics.
Oh yeah, his solos on anything, not anything the song, not just anything out there, but he brought that bluesiness to it, but it had crunch, it had like punch to it. And his pinch harmonics, it's not like Zakk Wylde where it makes you want to like fucking slit your own throat after hearing it 8 million times. He did it so tastefully, and he added this eerie, creepy, kind of like that bluesy feel that Danzig is missing big time now. And I know he's friends with Tommy Victor from Prong. Tommy's been in the band for a while, and I love Prong. I know you do too, Arnie, like a lot of that older stuff. He's a good player in Prong, but he's not a blues player. And it just doesn't, you can tell that John Christ is just sorely missed. And I wish he was back, honestly. And I know they asked him recently. Well, I think you, Justin.
I know. You did you just notice him using that huge roach clip thingy? Oh no, that's the steak.
It's stick.
That's how. So I can finish the rest of my cigar without burning my fingers.
Yeah, and after you're done with that, you can impale a vampire with it.
Either that or put one of those Sam's Club hot dogs on it and just,
Fuck myself.
He's got one.
A lot of guys do this, or they buy pipes and stick it down in a pipe to finish it. I mean, when you're spending $10 on a fucking cigar, $10 or more, I'm getting every fucking bit out of this thing.
Yeah, that's probably $3 worth of cigar right there.
Exactly.
Well, Justin, wasn't it you, Justin, that asked about Christ, John Christ, where you were like, "Oh, what is he, like a teacher or something?" Was it Jay?
No, it was an old podcast, and I was like, "Well, what is he doing now? Is he like a teacher or something?" And you and Jay were like, "Yeah, he's a teacher."
Yeah. But they interviewed him and said, "Are you are you ready to go?" Like, and he said, "If I know every one of the old songs, and if Glenn called me up, I'd be on stage tomorrow and I'd play him perfectly." And then part of that interview, the video interview, they showed him on stage playing some of the old songs, and it gave me goosebumps, because he's got that tone that's like,
yeah, he does.
It's like Eddie Van Halen.
I've got
I don't know how he gets it, but he's got that sound that's like very unique to him. And the guy's underrated as hell. And it's like anytime I bring John Christ up, fuck yeah, dude, absolutely. And it's like, and I think it's just because he's been out of the limelight for so long, that.
Yeah.
So that's him.
I've got some live stuff of that they did. It was on Discogs. I think it was like live in Warsaw or something, or somewhere, some city in Poland or Czech Republic. And I think it's just called Devil Songs. And since, I mean, obviously, once that stuff hits Discogs, Danzig probably is on there, and you can't buy it anymore. But the live stuff, the live playing on 777 is, I can't. Out of all the stuff I listen to, all the genres of rock and everything, that guitar tone is just, it's disgusting. It's so amazing. Yeah. And I listened to some of the newer stuff with the guy from Prong, and I'm not trying to just like copy you, but it just doesn't sound as good as.
It's not. the songwriting's there because Glenn went back to that older style, but
yeah,
he doesn't have the right pieces in. And with Johnny Kelly on drums from Typo, who to me
who's
is
a super nice guy. I saw him and Kenny
Hickey.
Hickey, yeah, some band. We were down at House of Blues, and they're super nice guys. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think they were in. I can't remember the name of the band. Was it Silver Tomb or?
Yeah, I think so. Me and Craig
Like
Stromberg saw them, and I talked to Kenny Hickey about pizza, the best pizza in Canarsie, Brooklyn. I swear to God. Yeah, great guy.
But yeah, man. No, and Arnie, you were gonna say something about.
I when I seen Danzig on I think it's Danzig 3, How the Gods Kill.
This is gonna piss me off. He always tells me about this fucking show that he saw, and I'm always like,
oh, it was Danzig, Black Sabbath, and with Dio, Dehumanizer tour, right? Yeah, Dehumanizer. But the whole time,
and who else? One other band.
Trouble. But I remember getting down in as close as I could to stage when Danzig was on, so that I could watch him play guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely watch the guitar players, but I was at first we were like holy shit, look at Chuck Biscuits, standing up and playing.
Yeah, standing up the whole time.
Then I was like, I love the guitar work. So I got down as close as I could and just basically watched him the whole set. I care less about Danzig out there parading around in his fishnet shirt, but
watch your tongue, Arnie.
Yeah, don't let Jay hear that. Jay's gonna lose his shit.
Fucking fishnet shirt and his fucking sock stuffed into his drawers, so you look like he had a big dick.
I'm gonna hear Jay's gonna be like, all right, yeah, the Arnie guy.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, that's mine. So
I think all right, so it's me now.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're past our top 10. I'm gonna name a couple. I've got Eddie Hazel from Funkadelic. Unfortunately, not featured as much as I wanted to. There wasn't featured as much as I wanted to hear him in the band. And then when Parliament joined, and it became like a little poppier, and they took the acid rock out of it, and kind of pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
But Maggot Brain is my favorite solo. I love the album Cosmic Slop. I like that one too. I have that one. The three I have are Cosmic Slop, Maggot Brain, and that self-titled one. But it's just unbelievable playing, just shredding the delay, the analog delay. It's just amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So that's one of my. I can't remember what we're on.
Well,
but he's definitely on
that California Dreamin' cover he did.
Yes, that's off of
one of his 80s.
It's either off of Dames and Guitar Things, I think, or it's either that or Jams from the Heart. So those are the two solo ones that I have from him. Anyway,
dude, he was so good, man.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate because he wasn't really featured as much later on. I mean, there's a lot of wasted time that he was, because George Clinton wanted to get all like funkier. I love funk, but I just when it's something that good, like I just wish he would never have fucked with it and combined the bands. So those are my 2 cents.
You're talking about funk. I'm gonna bust this out because of you, Justin.
Yeah, that's a really good album. That's funk rock. Yeah, that's amazing.
Philadelphia band, aren't they?
They might be. I just know that there's so much awesome stuff out there. And when you talk about funk and fusion, especially in the 70s, the amount of unsung bass players is that like people that like you don't even know. Like you could talk to somebody who's been playing bass forever and name it. They never got the credit. I don't know what it is, why maybe the fans, maybe the actual like general fan base didn't really care about who was playing what. They just liked the music.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many unsung bass players from that era and that genre of music. It's insane.
Well, the funny thing is, like, bass players all know those guys. like even guys that aren't necessarily like, it's funny because all the bass players I know, you don't ever meet a bass player who goes, oh, I only play metal or only listen to metal, because you can appreciate what, especially what these guys were doing in funk bands.
Yeah.
God damn. I can't even name half the guys. But like just Bootsy for one. Bootsy got huge.
Yeah. Well, shit, dude, the guy from Randy the fuck from American Idol. I mean, he played with like John Lucani. Yeah, dude, he was fucking unbelievable.
He was in Journey. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. But I mean, like Joe Hall from the Blackbirds.
I think he's actually in Journey now.
I went down.
Oh,
because the band, there's some crazy shit that happened with the band, and
no, yeah, that's crazy. I just remember, I mean, one of the first things I remember I told Cliff, like when I first met you, Arnie, like when we first started hanging out, I was like, dude, this guy's like into like metal, but he knows who the Mahavishnu Orchestra is. Like, I was like, this is fucking awesome. This guy rules.
Well, so, I spent a good 10 years of listening to nothing but jazz and fusion and funk.
Yeah,
I kind of got out of the metal scene in the late 90s, early 2000s. Hell yeah. Because there was just nothing coming out that really spoke to me. It was like I was just listening to everybody trying to fucking play all the shit that I grew up listening to and just doing it badly.
Yeah.
I mean, I still kept up on my favorites, but I got opened up to a world. I mean, I liked jazz as a little when I was younger, but whenever I started to listen to Mahavishnu and freaking Return to Forever and all this stuff, I was just like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean,
that's like, why
Jaco Pastorius and all these guys were just, I mean, they were so talented. And I think Jaco got murdered or something, but he was in Weather Report and stuff. What?
Jaco was beaten. He was beaten at a club. He went to go get up on stage, play with another group. He was schizophrenic, and some martial arts bouncer beat him to fucking death.
Yeah. So, but a lot of unsung heroes, and a lot of that's what's great about musicians and music in general is, you know, especially like I was telling Kip earlier, having you on the podcast as a musician, it offers something, you know, extra that, you know, and it's really cool that when people have a love for an instrument, that it transcends their favorite genre or what they do. Because some of these people that play, yeah, they like that genre of music, but it's also a fucking job for them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always their favorite style of music. It may be a style of music that they like and they find they can play easier than something else that they may like even more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that era of music too.
Okay. My next?
Yeah.
My next one is not because he does good guitar solos, because he doesn't play guitar solos, but the guy's rhythm playing is fucking insane. I've never heard anybody. I thought James Hetfield was the master of the fucking gallop, but John Schaefer.
I knew. Yep. As soon as you said master of the gallop,
Jesus Christ! I remember the first time I heard Ice Earth, and I heard I was like, how the fuck is he doing that? That sounds insane.
I was just watching a Guitar World video on him where he's playing some of the riffs. He's just like, he could be like sleeping and his hand is like barely moving, you know, and it's just.
And I picked this album because this is probably my favorite Ice Earth album. Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Mm-hmm.
It was not the first Ice Earth album I had, but it was early because I didn't really get into power metal until I started hanging out with you and Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Hammerfall and because of the death metal guys who were in the band and stuff like that. But the whole world of like this stuff, my buddy Doug had the first couple Ice Earth albums. I never listened to them because I didn't like the vocals. I didn't like vocals back in the day. I mean, when I heard thrash metal for the first time in the mid 80s and heard people screaming, I was like, fuck singing. I like the power. But I started getting deeper into music. Holy shit, John Schaefer is such a great fucking rhythm guitar player.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I even, you know, some of the newer stuff.
Yeah.
Like this album is so good. Maybe we can get something. Maybe he can do like a Dottie Balder's fucking album live from prison.
I was about to ask you guys if he was the one in that band that is in trouble.
They're throwing a fucking book at that poor guy for no fucking reason. Guaranteed if there was a bunch of left-wing fucks that did that shit, they'd all be saints. There'd be fucking posters of them hanging on fucking buildings and shit.
He was so like, he's always been really into that. He's always been like real into history and shit. And I think didn't he own a store that was like miniatures or something?
It was a Civil War miniature store.
I think that's cool.
This store was fucking cool. I always wanted to go to it because it was in Indiana.
Yeah.
It wasn't that far outside Cincinnati.
He's just, that's just who he is, man. And, he just got more and more into like the, far right type stuff. And I don't know. Yeah, it was a stupid thing that he was there. But it's like, and I know a lot of people were like, man, are you really going to listen to Iced Earth after that? And I thought,
it doesn't affect the music.
Dude, I listened to Dissection. He like killed people and fucking.
These would be the same. And then John Schaefer, fuck him.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't really.
Thing again.
Yeah. To me, it's all about the music. So if it's good, if I gave a shit about what people thought, I mean, I'm not a Burzum fan. I don't think they're, I'm not really into that style of black metal. But if I cared about what a lot of these people saying about it, I'd have like fucking 8 albums in my collection. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
You find something wrong with everything. So, but whatever.
I love it zoomed and there are a bunch of left-wing nut bars.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I love Something Wicked This Way Comes. That I saw that tour. I used to have that long sleeve and I don't know what happened to it. But what's that?
I still have my short sleeve one.
You do?
Yeah, actually, in my Facebook page, that cover my picture.
Yeah,
I have that shirt on.
Yeah, it's got, my old one had like Egyptian symbols down the arms and it had the tour dates on the back. And I remember Matt Barlow was walking around with glasses on and his hair back in a ponytail, and he was reading as he was walking around, and he was like a really nice guy, but he ended up leaving after 9/11 to be a cop or some shit because of 9/11. But then now he's back into doing music. What's his Ashes of Aries or something? I know he was on like one album or something. Really cool vocals too. But yeah, John Schaefer is not, like you said, like for me, not lead playing. It's just his riffing is legendary.
Yeah,
riffing. But
riffing.
I'll get into is that me then? My next.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll get into mine, and that is Mr. Roy Gallagher himself.
Oh yeah, I love the album Tattoo. That's my favorite album he ever did.
Yeah, you got.
That's awesome. You played that for me. That is absolutely fucking incredible.
I remember when I played that, Justin was just like, "Oh my god," But his playing is, Irish player, Irish guy. Absolutely, this is a newer live album that came out. Check Shirt was live in '77. His playing, it was bluesy, but it was so loud and just obnoxious a lot of times, but it was so good. And it was like, you could love his vocals. I love his music, his songwriting, but his playing was just, he would go into a solo and it was just 100% pure emotion. Like everything was, he's sweating like fucking crazy. And really, again, kind of like Alvin Lee, where on album he's phenomenal, but live he really went off.
Yeah, it's kind of like Robin Trower is the same way.
Exactly. So with this, it's, taste is great. I got live at the Isle of Wight. But yeah, my Roy Gallagher stuff, he is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Just love it. Died a long time ago.
Yeah, I think he had some mental issues. He wasn't like schizophrenic or anything, but I know he had a lot of phobias. I don't think he flew. I think he was later in life. I think he was a what do you call it? Agoraphobic, I think. So I know, he kind of had a rough end of his life. So, but he's amazing. I love the album Tattoo. I should listen to more. I should probably get that Taste album too.
Yeah, they're pretty
do
cheap.
love it.
I know I got bust the other one out because I can't remember where the fuck. Oh, here it is. Live at the Isle of Wight. Really good stuff. They do a.
When is that from? Just like late 60s, early 70s?
71. So it's the same actually. I think it's the festival that Hendrix. This one's live at the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, I have a Who live at the Isle of Wight too.
It was probably just that.
Yeah.
Just different years. But,
yeah. That's awesome.
This one's great. Probably like 50,000 people just like
on acid or something.
Completely on acid. Yeah.
All right. Let's do my turn now.
Yep.
I'm going well, Robin Trower, we talked about that already. I'm going prog rock. Guitar player who has the longest fingers I've ever seen, other than maybe Buckethead, and that's Steve Howe from Yes. Talk about a classically trained guitar player. I mean, the guy he can play anything you want, like as far as like classical music. I love Yes. Chris Squire is my favorite bass player. I'm never, Pink Floyd is my favorite band, but my favorite proper prog band is not King Crimson. It's not ELP. It's not even Genesis. It's definitely Yes. And I just think Steve Howe is amazing, and Chris Squire is fucking incredible. He's my favorite bass player. So Steve Howe for sure. Starship Trooper, amazing song. He was good at riffs, but he was good at picking and everything. Amazing player. So Steve Howe on my list.
I'm with you on that one. I mean, I got that. I didn't. The first time I ever heard Yes was the 80s stuff. Right. But I started getting into the older stuff. I've never been a big 70s music fan. Growing up in the 70s, I didn't want to listen to the shit my mom listened to. So I went and found the more obscure, heavier stuff. But now, over the past, 20 years, I've been getting more into that type of stuff. But I bought that Yes box set. It has all of their albums. I think all the 70s albums, maybe one or two of the 80s albums. That it comes in a box set, and each album literally looks like a miniaturized record.
Yeah.
On the outside, and they pull the CDs out, and they look like records and shit. I listened to that thing over and over again. I was like, God damn. Listen, especially being a Chris Squire being the amazing bass player that he was.
Yeah.
I paid a lot of attention to that. But yeah, I'm with you on that one. Guitar work is just ridiculous.
Yeah, he was amazing. And please, if anybody watching, just type in Steve Howe and then put in the year like 2010 to 2021. He literally looks like some kind of goblin creature. I mean, he makes Bobby Liebling look like fucking whoever the hot hunk is now in Beautiful in Hollywood. I mean, he makes it, if you make Bobby Liebling look handsome, you are a wretched looking human being. I mean,
I got the first time I was turned on to him, there was an old Dream Theater VHS that I have where they jammed with a bunch of their favorite musicians. Like they played cover songs, and they had like one guy, like they had Barney doing Battery. So they had Barney from Napalm Death singing the Metallica song. Well, they had Steve Howe on there. I don't know what song they were playing, but
yeah,
Jesus Christ, I never
Well,
heard.
I mean, that Yes was Rush's favorite band. They were obsessed with Yes. And, you know, when you have guys that are as good as Rush and, you know, they look up to the guys from Yes, you know, usually it shows you how good the other band is. And so definitely amazing stuff.
You're up.
My next pick kills two birds with one stone. The songwriting and the guitar rhythms are some of my favorite of all time. And then the guitar solos played by the lead guitar player are fucking amazing. And I remember when I was growing up and I heard this stuff for the first time, I didn't realize that King Diamond wrote almost 90% of the guitar riffs. And the guitar riffs are fucking amazing.
I never knew that.
So his rhythm guitar playing work on those King Diamond albums are phenomenal. And then the Andy LaRocque, I think it's LaRocque, his guitar solos are fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite King Diamond guitar solo was done on this album, Conspiracy for Sleepless Nights. And funny enough, it's the other guy. It was Pete Black or whatever his name was.
Yeah, I can't remember who's on that.
Yeah, his solo, the first solo on Sleepless Nights, that song, just some stuff. I still get goosebumps when I hear it.
Yeah.
And then Andy LaRocque comes in with his solo, and that one gives you goosebumps. So I think with King Diamond, you can't go wrong with amazing rhythm guitars played by or written by King and played by Andy, and then solos. They're just, you know, they're solos that they're not shredding, but they're so well thought out.
Yeah, they're super tasteful. It's not.
Do you guys like Merciful Fate more than King Diamond, or do you like King Diamond stuff more than Merciful Fate?
Probably I like King Diamond stuff more than Merciful Fate because I love the first two Merciful Fate albums. But when they got back together, there was too much other death metal to buy and listen to that, being dirt fucking poor, I wasn't going to go buy the Merciful Fate albums. And when I was hearing, they're okay. You know, then I met people that were into them and had bought them, and I started getting turned on to them. But no, I my personal favorite stuff would be all the King Diamond stuff.
Kip, didn't you have that first? I was over at your house a couple of months ago, and you played that really early live Merciful Fate. Where you can't even find it on Discogs.
No, I used to have, it was a bootleg. I can't remember.
That stuff was absolutely stunning because I'd never heard that, because that's early live, I think.
I'll have to send you the bootleg, Arnie. I don't have it anymore, like an idiot. I can't remember what happened to it. It was in my record store days. It came in and it was dirt cheap, and it has like a skull on it. It's like a drawing, and you know, he's King Diamond, like the band is on it. They're really small and he's kind of pointing. And
what year do you think that was from?
Probably, I mean, Merciful Fate days, 83, 84, something like that. You know, that's Michael Denner and Hank Sherman, who I think are, you know, if we're talking guitar duos,
yeah, no shit,
awesome to me is, you know, Downing and Tipton, and you know, so.
Well, according to the guy in Electric Citizen, was it KK Downing is dead or something?
Idiot.
Band. Oh, really? He's dead.
Oh my God, we went and saw.
Who was that? Who did we see? Was it Earthless?
No, it was Fu Manchu.
Oh, okay.
It was a Fu Manchu tour, and I went over, and they were on. They're still on, I think, that Riding Easy record label. Back then it was Easy Rider.
Yeah, now it's Riding Easy.
Yeah, now it's Riding Easy. And they had all their merch there. Electric Citizen, that, you know, idiot singer, that chick was there. And I don't know, a lot of the shit looked cool. They had like a cool raglan. Everything was cheap. I had all their fucking shit. I'm like, I'll just buy all of it. I don't care. And the one guitar player, some guy in the band, was just like, they were talking, and he said something like, yeah, the reason why KK Downing's not in Priest anymore is because he's dead. And he was talking like like
he knew it for a fact. And
I was eavesdropping on their conversation, just being a nosy. And he was talking like, yeah, Priest is one of my favorite bands, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, he's not in the band anymore because he's dead. And I was like, he's not fucking dead. And they're like, yeah, he is. I'm like, no, he left. He's not fucking dead. He's still alive. And the guy was like, no, he's dead, straight up. And I was like, I thought you were a fan. If you're like the biggest Priest fan, how the fuck do you know? And he was like, oh, no, he's dead. I'm pretty sure. I don't know, dude. It rubbed me the wrong way, and I took their shit and just dropped it right on the desk, on their table. And I was like, I'm not buying any of it. You guys are fucking posers. And it was a good thing, because then they got on stage, and that fucking idiot singer, she was doing like choreographed stage moves, and she sucked. And the guitar player was really good.
Yeah.
But which pissed me off even more, because I wanted them to suck, just
there's so many other better bands, so you it's fine.
It was just like, I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid band. Idiot. And then I saw him open for King Diamond. One of the times we went out to Pittsburgh, and fucking Electric Citizen opened for King Diamond. I was like, come on. Horrible. Nobody liked them. Nobody clapped. She was out there doing these stupid fucking stage moves, and it was like, ugh.
Yeah, try too hard.
Whatever.
All right, so your turn. I think Gary Moore.
Me. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I think I'm almost done with my 10. Honestly, I don't even fucking know. I'm just having a good time.
Yeah, I only have one more on my list, I think.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and throw a fucking metal one on there. I'm gonna see if I can find it. See if one album that he's on. Fucking whatever. That's probably behind me. I'll say James Murphy.
Boy, he was almost on my list.
Every fucking thing he does, like he's on Cause of Death, awesome. He's on Testament Low, my favorite Testament. He's in Cancer, fucking awesome.
Cancer is amazing. I love that.
Spiritual Healing.
Yes, awesome. It's like
Disincarnate.
Yes.
Oh man, I remember when that Disincarnate came out, we were all everybody was creaming their jeans over that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking brutal.
He's just awesome. He has such a unique style, and it's such a unique sound. And Testament Low, I mean, I was 14 when I bought that album. It came out in 94. And his guitar solos on that, I like him better than Alex Skolnick.
Oh yeah.
So Alex Skolnick now, and even though Testament's my favorite thrash band, I would never put Skolnick on the list anymore, because he left to do a bunch of jazz fusion shit.
Oh, that's cool.
But he came back, and it was like he lost something. It was weird. It was like he went too deep into the jazz thing, and he lost that metal edge to it.
Did he get it back or no?
No.
Maybe his heart's not in it anymore.
He's still a great player. But there's something about his playing that, prior to him leaving Testament, and then him doing all this, I think he did like the Skull Patrol and all this other stuff. It doesn't sound the same to me. And with James Murphy on Low, oh my God, dude. And I saw James Murphy live when I saw Testament on the Gathering tour. He was there, and he was really, really good live, obviously, just fucking amazing. But yeah, if I'm going to throw a metal guy on there, it'd be 100%, it'd be James Murphy. I was thinking Jakey Lee, and then I was like, you know what? I love Badlands, and I love Ozzy, the Ultimate Sin. That's my favorite Ozzy album. But James Murphy is just, every single thing that he's done is just fucking unreal.
I didn't know he was in that band Cancer. That's the death metal Cancer with the skull or the guys with the machete.
Yeah, he was on.
Okay. Because there's like 8 different bands named Cancer.
Yeah, he was on. Yeah, that one. But he was on what? Death Shall Rise.
Okay.
Getting to Justin about Sloan and doing fusion stuff. He did these albums called Attention Deficit. So if I look into them, it's Attention Deficit, and it's Michael Manring on bass, which is Michael Manring is up there with Jocko for me on bass playing. Michael Manring, he used to take lessons he used to play with Jocko.
Oh, that's awesome.
He played with Pat Metheny. He played with Joni Mitchell. Oh no, I'm sorry, that was Pat Metheny. Manring played with Pat Metheny too, but he didn't play with Joni Mitchell. That was Jocko.
Okay.
But Attention Deficit. I think there was 2 albums. I got both of them. They're really, really good.
Are they from the 90s?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it's Herb Alexander from Primus is on drums, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's really cool shit.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I'll check it out. Let's see here. I got a couple. I don't know where we're at even on numbering.
Is it on?
I'll be on number 9 on when I go next.
Okay.
So.
Well, and I can't remember who I've even gone through, but I'm gonna throw Jimmy Page and Isaiah Mitchell in there. Jimmy Page, obviously Led Zeppelin, love the riffs. And Isaiah Mitchell in Earthless, and was supposed to be in Black Crows, and then COVID happened. And I don't know like what's going on with that, but he's an amazing guitar player, newer, obviously.
He's still in the Crows.
Okay. So I wasn't sure if he was a member of the band or if he was just a touring member or like what they're doing.
Just a hired gun.
But those are 2 honorable mentions I have. But probably I think he was on my list when I posted it on our group. But George Koymans from Golden Earring, I love his playing. He could play shredding fast. There's live at the Winterland. There's a song called Kill Me. I think it's called C'est Soi, Kill Me or something. And that's, dude, the end of that song, the solo. You rarely see 70s players play that quick, like that, classic players you hear now or in the 80s, that kind of, especially in metal. But he could play anything, quick, fast, whatever, slower. I love that. The earlier stuff, it's just kind of hard to find this earlier stuff. This is the self-titled album, and there's a great album called Together as well. And then Moon Tan is great, obviously Switch. But I didn't know, and I actually misspoke. I said older stuff. That's not really that old, even though it's from like 70, 71. Because that band, I guess, like they were called the Earrings or something, and they've been around since like 1965 or something like that. So I know they had like a 55th or 60th anniversary or something. Yeah. I know somebody posted, but they were an amazing band. I'm not too into 60s music, but and I don't know if they released that many 80s albums, but I love George Koymans. I think he's a great player. And one of Tony Iommi's favorite guitar players of the 70s. There's that story about when Geezer and Tony they had writer's block for Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and they just played Moontan and they played Switch, or no, not Switch, Moontan. Two of the like early 70s Golden Earring albums, and they got their creative juices flowing, and they wrote Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. So, but cool. There's some cool stories.
Sweet. I'm gonna look into it. I know you keep talking about them, and
it's unbelievable stuff.
Well, my next would be number 9, not in that order, but my 9 out of the 10. This guy, not the most technically amazing guitar player, but he influenced a shit ton of copycats. of bands who literally wanted to sound, and to this day are coming out and literally want to sound exactly like his band. And that would be Tom Moyer from Celtic Frost.
Unbelievable.
It's his tone, his style, everything. I mean, there's new bands, kids that are coming out there in the early 20s who want to do bands that sound just like Hellhammer and just like Celtic Frost.
Mhm.
You know, they're killing themselves to get the fucking sound and get.
Dude, that album, Necromantical Screams.
My favorite.
That song, dude. That album and Morbid Tales are, and then obviously Hellhammer. It's just so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
There isn't a bad song on any of those albums. And there's not a bad Hellhammer song, and because I have Demon Entrails, that's a great comp of the early Hellhammer stuff. But that album, Morbid Tales, is amazing, but that goes further into songwriting, and I don't know, dude. I'm so happy you brought that up.
You know, Celtic Frost, those Morbid Tales and Tomb Megatherion are two of the most influential albums in my life.
Yeah,
hands down. Musically, I can listen to Tomb Megatherion literally every day, and I don't get sick of hearing it. It's one of those albums that I can listen to it front to back and just never go, oh God, I'm halfway through, turn it off.
Dude, I was listening to Morbid Tales, I think probably like last month, and the song Procreation of the Wicked, dude, oh my God.
It's so heavy.
Those albums are unreal.
Like crushingly heavy.
Yeah. They're just mean. They're rotten albums. Yeah. Especially Morbid Tales is rotten. But To Megatherion is, like, as far as songwriting goes, I mean, that album is amazing.
You know, so when we were talking that last episode, me and Kip were talking about Entomb, we're talking about how there's, you know, a lot of guys were understanding there were some really good death metal bands that are out nowadays. And I think they missed the point that me and Kip were trying to make was, yeah, they're good bands out there, but they're not doing the same type of stuff that people were doing in the 80s.
Right.
They were creating genres of music. You know, yes, Celtic Frost wanted to sound like Venom, but they didn't want to sound just like Venom. They wanted to add all this other shit.
Yeah, and they succeeded because they don't sound like Venom, in my opinion.
And he didn't sit there and go, oh, I want my guitar to sound just like Mantis's guitar, so that he goes and tracks down whatever Mantis was using and copied it. He said, I got this Tube Screamer Ibanez pedal. I got this weird fucking Ibanez guitar. Let's fuck around with it and come up with my own tone. And now how many fucking bands want to fucking sound like him? Same thing with Entombed, you know, the Nihilist stuff, when they took the fucking guitar player, took that piece of shit Sovtek guitar amp and the fucking HM2 and cranked it all the way up and said, no one sounds like this. Let's fucking do this. Now there's a gazillion. That's my point. Is that like Gate Creeper and all these other bands that are coming out that sound like the Entombed, they're fucking great bands writing great music, but it's done.
Yeah, no, I get you. There are. I mean, I like, despite, like I posted, like despite the Me Too kind of bullshit movement in the annoying posts on Facebook, I like Necrot. I think Mammoth Grinder is pretty good or a pretty good band. Sworn is good. Skull Crusher is good. But to be honest with you, I can't go further than that. So I guess it shows you. I mean, I can count on one hand. So
you like Triptychon, Arnie?
Yeah.
You like Triptychon?
Oh yeah, Triptychon's great. Now I don't. To me, it doesn't sound anything like Celtic Frost.
No.
You know, it is its own entity, which I think that's exactly what his point of doing Triptychon was in the first place. I mean, like, to get back on the newer bands doing stuff, like I love Psychroptic, because, you know, they took something and morphed it into their own sound. You hear a Psychroptic song, it's technical, yes, it's this, and this, but it sounds like Psychroptic.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, let's get an HM2, change the fucking, and just write basically Entombed songs over and over again.
Do you guys like Monotheist or no? I like one song off of Monotheist, and it's a song called Ground.
I don't particularly care. I don't even own it.
Yeah.
You know,
I was just wondering because to be
Those
honest with you,
songs
there's
are
one
really-
good song that I like on it. It's
And
just,
one song is really doomy, and I think it's really cool. But I like, I know a lot of people that love it. I'm not really into Triptychon,
I'm not either.
but
I listen to it at night when I'm sitting back and chilling, smoking a cigar, about to go to bed or something like that. I'll
Mhm.
put on Triptychon. But no. So that's my number 9. Tom Warrior. Even on Cold Lake, he still had that great fucking guitar tone.
Yeah.
It's just as soon as you hear it.
Well, give your number 10.
Okay. Number 10 would be Mila from Creator. Now that he's not the flashiest lead guitar player, but I do like his leads. But the fucking dude's riffs, I mean, Jesus Christ. I had to put him on there. I couldn't. Like I said, those last 5 were not in any particular order, but Extreme Aggression, Coma of Souls. I mean, his guitar riffing is just so fucking.
Yep.
I can't even put it into words. When I seen him live, I can't not look at his fucking hands the whole time he's jamming. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love this. Ventor, the Rush t-shirt on.
Yeah. And come the drummers, that's one of my favorite drummers of all time.
Yeah, Ventor is awesome, man.
Fucking amazing. The dual vocals on some of the songs, he does Ride of Violence, which is one of my absolute favorite fucking Creator songs.
Mm-hmm.
Sings that song. So yeah, that would be my top 10. I have, if we keep going a little bit, I got a couple honorable mentions. I even have a non-metal guy that I wanted to say.
I'll go through some of my honorable mentions because I know
I only have one guy left, even on my honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions, I'll pick up, either probably Stephen Stills or this is my dad's copy from back in the 70s, but Stephen Stills, even Neil Young. This is one of the greatest live albums I've ever. It's fucking amazing.
Gary Moore.
Don't like his blues stuff. I don't mind it, but to me, I liked his playing in Thin Lizzy, and then I liked a lot of his solo stuff. This is a great album. Don't Take Me for a Loser is fucking awesome. Victims of the Future is another killer one. Here's one, Arnie, that you might.
That's who is going to be my non-metal guy.
Really?
I love Al Di Meola. I love him.
He's very good. Steve Gadd, Jan Hammer, Mingo Lewis. I'm not really knowledgeable about him. I bought this on a whim.
Yeah, I remember I was with you.
Yeah, only because I know Zakk Wylde loves him, and so
a lot of metal guys got into him.
I know. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm totally gonna get this dude. It looks fucking awesome.
His stuff with Return to Forever, and then his first solo album. Oh,
that's Chick Corea, right?
Yeah, Return to Forever is Chick Corea, Stanley Clarke, Al Di Meola, and I'm wanting to say Tony Williams on drums, but I can't remember.
Yeah, talk about great bass player Stanley Clarke. That's another one of those ones that,
Well, I'll go through it because I had like 8 million honorable mentions. I'll just run them through. I already did Gary Moore, Isaiah Mitchell, Jerry Cantrell, who I think is a very unique player. And out of the Seattle scene, he was, I think, the top in terms of guitar playing.
Yeah, for sure.
He is Alice in Chains as much as I love Lane Staley, and I miss the dude. Lane was great, but you know that after he passed and Alice in Chains, they're still putting albums out.
Good albums too.
Sound really good. I mean, I love them. That's because of Jerry Cantrell, and so I think he is the sound. Victor Griffin, Place of Skulls, Pentagram. I mean, I was just looking at it too. Place of Skulls is like this album, Black is Never Far, is probably one of the best Doom albums. His playing, I remember I saw him with you, Arnie.
He was one of those guys that when you see him live, he comes off as like just fucking cool. Like one of those guys, you're like, dude, that guy's cool. He emanated. He didn't act like it. You didn't walk around with like a stuck up. It was like when I met Pepper Keenan and started bullshitting with him for like a half hour about Celtic Frost. He just comes off with this air of fucking like they're just cool motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way Victor Griffin was. Fucking could that guy play too? Jesus Christ.
That was such a good show. And the other one, I'll go through John Norum from Europe. Basically, if you like shredding guitars, but you like Thin Lizzy, I mean, everything the guy does is amazing. Michael Denner, Hank Sherman. You got to go with the Nuge, Sweaty Teddy. I don't give a shit about his politics. I only care about
music. Who cares?
What's that?
It's music. Who cares?
Exactly. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, listen to that fucking. I don't care. His music is amazing. If you can find interviews where he only talks about music, it's some of the best shit I've ever heard, because he gets like these blinders on, just focused on music, and he's talking about Chuck Berry, he's talking about Hendrix, he's just going on, and it's amazing the stuff he talks about. George Lynch, excuse me, said earlier he's still good to this day. Here's another one, probably a little dark horse candidate, Chris Haskett.
Oh, from Rollins.
Yeah, Chris Haskett's fucking awesome. To me, it's the sound of Raw. I mean, you know, Rollins band is that's amazing. Michael Schenker. Gotta go with anything UFO, Michael Schenker.
Yeah. I forgot to put Ron Ashton on mine from the Stooges. I love Ron Ashton.
Yeah, Ron Ashton. Page, Hendrix, obviously. Slash. The reason I like Slash so much is because he didn't wank off on his guitar. And that's the reason. I don't care if people don't like Axl. I know you don't, Arnie. I know Jason doesn't, that we, a couple episodes ago, he hates him. Guns N' Roses, to me, everything was about like Poison and Warrant, which, yeah, whatever. I love that stuff. I got all of it. But when Guns N' Roses came out, it was a lot of those bands, it was glammy, and Guns N' Roses was like, yeah, there's a different side to the Sunset Strip. There's like a gutter and like fucking heroin addiction and just trashy. What's that?
You're sleazy.
Yeah, and it was like, but they were real and they lived it. And Slash, his playing was like 70s guitar players to me. And that's what I loved about it. And his playing to this day is fucking, I have his solo stuff that he does with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, and awesome.
Did you ever find that video of him playing with Rick and from Cheap Trick?
No, not yet.
You're all talk. It's fucking awesome, dude.
I have it written down. I'm gonna check it out. Dwayne Allman. I love the Allman Brothers. Dwayne Allman was amazing. Steve Vai. I'm not a big Satriani guy. I think Vai, to me, is like just an absolute genius at what he does. Somebody I've been really getting into lately is Frank Zappa. A lot of his playing.
Oh, dude, he was fucking amazing.
I knew Hot Rats. I think it was that a while back. So I knew he was good, but I really started getting into his stuff, and it's just like blowing my mind. Billy Duffy from the Cult, very unique. He's not technical. He's not. It's just his sound that he created.
Yeah.
Pantera, Dimebag. I know you don't like him, Arnie, but
I like Dimebag's playing. I just don't like the big. Actually, I need to start listening to the earlier shit, the one that everybody calls hair metal and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think I would actually like that better than that groove metal crap they came out with.
No, you like this.
Yeah, I would like that more than I would probably like. I fucking hate Cowboys from Hell.
But his playing was, to me, he was almost like the last true virtuoso, because his playing is so unique. And when I saw him live, he was such a talent, man. I mean, his sound, his tone, his vibrato, everything. Paul Gilbert.
Oh yeah, Paul Gilbert's good.
Racer X, Mr. Big. I love Mr. Big and all this shit. I don't care what people say about Mr. Big. They always think that To Be With You is like their only hit, but it's like,
I actually like that song, but whatever.
I love the song, but people make fun of it. But how can you go wrong with Paul Gilbert and Billy fucking Sheehan in one band?
Yeah, that's just.
I mean, Billy Sheehan is a. And then my last ones, well, Wino, Scott Weinrich from The Obsessed. I switched that up a little bit. And then my very last one is another one that a lot of people don't talk about, but I think he's one of the cleanest, most professional, one of the most absolutely perfect guitar players I've ever heard, and that's Bruce Kulick from Kiss. On the 80s stuff that he's on, the guy is I used to say he was faceless and he didn't really make his own mark, but the more I listen to his playing, it's like he's the best guitar player, in my opinion, that Kiss ever had. I love Ace Frehley. Ace isn't a good guitar player. He's sloppy as fuck. He even admits that he's sloppy as fuck. But that's what makes Ace so good, is that he wrote some incredible parts, and some really memorable riffs, and he has some great solos. But Bruce Kulick, to me, is just like the consummate guitar player. Everything that he's on, he just nails perfectly. And he was also, I met him when he was in a band called Union with John Corabi, who was on my favorite Crew album, the one without Vince Neil. And I saw them play live twice, and he was just unfucking believable. Who actually, the drummer Brent Fitz is now with Slash on his solo shit. But yeah, so it was hard for me to.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could throw in like Frank Marino in there.
Dude,
I mean,
I completely forgot, but yeah, Frank Marino.
Yeah, you could throw in Randy California. I mean, there's so many.
Christ, dude.
There's so many guitar players. I mean, I'm missing. I'm gonna punch my face. Like it's impossible to remember everybody. So
The one guy I'm surprised that Kip didn't put on his list, because I thought you really were into him, was that John 5 guy.
Dude, that's another one that.
Buckethead for me. I mean, it's just.
I don't like Rob Zombie. I like White Zombie, but I think Rob Zombie's shit sucks. AIDS infested dick. I think it's fucking awful. I can't stand it. I don't know what the hell that dude's doing. His music is, and no matter how bad his music is, it doesn't even touch how fucking awful his movies are. But John 5 is like, dude, the guy is so talented. I mean, he played with I think he played with David Lee Roth. He's insane. I love his solo stuff. He has that like kind of country chicken picking type stuff that he melds with like Eddie Van Halen and just shreds it. And he seems like a genuinely nice guy too in a lot of these videos.
Yeah, there's a cool video of him playing. They handed him.
It was a guitar from Get Your Yayas Out.
Yeah, they would hand him guitars, and he would play licks from each person's like real guitar. Yeah. It was really impressive.
Yeah. I've seen that video. That's fucking cool as hell.
Didn't he play? Well, he played Jason Becker's guitar, and then didn't he play? Was it Brian Jones?
He played Brian Jones and Mick Taylor's guitars.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he played Brian Jones, and then he played Mick Taylor's guitar is the one that's on Get Your Yayas Out.
Yeah, the gold one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's gold. Let me look.
But yeah, there's so many. It's fun going through this, and maybe if we do another, like we should probably do bass players or drummers. Maybe we'll pare it down to 5, and then do honorable mentions.
Yeah.
You got anybody else, Arnie?
Oh, my Honorable mentions would be the last CD one I have in here would be Oinstein Brun.
Oh, nice.
He's so different.
Mhm.
The way he writes stuff, it's so ethereal, and I don't know. He blends black metal, death metal, and folk music so nicely that it's like its own entity.
Mhm.
So he's definitely a metal honorable mention. The other memorable mention for metal would be Mick Mars, just because when I was a kid, and those first, especially the first two Motley Crue albums, I loved his solos. I used to memorize them, even though I wasn't into guitars. I just loved the way Mick Mars played.
Isn't he a lot older than the rest of those guys?
Yeah, he's like 5 or 6 years older, I think, wasn't he?
Oh well, that's not too much.
His name's Bob Allen Deal.
I just know he looks like like such a weirdo.
Well, he has ankylosing spondylitis, I think is how you say it. So everything's fusing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's rough.
I'm pretty sure he died in 1989, and they just like put formaldehyde in him, and fucking they got him up there like a fucking marionette, and that's how he plays.
He's mostly animatronic.
Yeah.
Fucking Disney World.
With my honorable mentions, other than those two guys, since you guys did all rock guys, one of my absolute favorite non-metal guitar players, obviously Al Di Meola would be one, and then Warren Haynes from Government Mule.
Dude,
jam band stuff. Yeah, I saw them play
you
live.
Like Warren Haynes? I didn't know you liked that.
Dude, I have like 4 Government Mule albums. I have that DVD. I fucking love the DVD. The one that's got Jason Newsted comes on and plays bass. All the different guys come and play bass on it. Yeah, it's so good. But I love his playing. So I said Al Di Meola, Warren Haynes, and not Alex Lifeson would be my other honorable mention. And trying to think of rock guitar players. I think I'm pretty much done.
Same here.
Like Warren DeMartini, I'd throw him in. The Rat solos, the stuff he did with Rat was really good.
He really was from that era, dude. Like just those Guitar Hero type guys, and it's a shame that he's not doing anything with Rat. But I don't think his heart really is in it anymore. It's not like George Lynch. George Lynch is, he's in more bands than fucking, pairs of underwear that I have. It's like every time I turn on the fucking computer, I get on the internet. It's like, oh, he's in another band. So the guy is, obviously keeping busy, and he sounds better now than he ever has. His playing is so great. But I don't know. I'm still a little fucking kind of taken aback that you mentioned Warren Haynes, because I don't have the newest, maybe the last 1 or 2 Government Mules, but I got like all the live albums. I ordered one off the internet, off of their website, called something Haunted House, and it was a Halloween show. Haunted Holy House or whatever. They did Houses of the Holy as a cover. The Deepest End is great. I have the Deep End Volume 1 and 2, and then the Deepest End is 3. But that DVD that's with it's got Victor Wooten.
Can I just say real quick, when I had a summer job at Nautica Pavilion and Blossom, there was a Victor Wooten show, and he was backstage, and he had those segways, and he was just like buzz around the segways and be like, "Hello, how are you?" And he had a drink in one hand. It was great. But he's an amazing bass player.
Oh, yeah. Dude, his playing on that is so good.
This probably was 2005, maybe 2006.
Yeah, they did those shows because Alan Woody, the bass player, original for Government Mule, died. And so they started doing those shows to bring a lot of Alan Woody's favorite players on, just in in honor of him. And it just kind of turned into something. bigger. I'm glad they only ended it. They only had 3 because I think it would have got kind of corny because they really used everyone. But
I had two others that I remembered that I wanted to put was John McLaughlin from Mahavishnu Orchestra. I mean, that's a no-brainer. And then I just fucking forgot the other one.
Yeah, I'm tired too.
Oh, John Schofield. Jesus Christ. John Schofield, he's with Medeski, Martin and Wood. The stuff, Medeski, Martin Wood, and Schofield albums are fucking insane.
Yeah.
Especially live jam shit. There's they're at in France at one of those jazz things that they have out there. And it's probably one of my favorite live jam jazz thing I'd ever seen. John Schofield is just fucking.
Yeah. Medeski, Martin, and Wood were really popular. I don't know how they are now, but I remember my friend Matt Darilla, who he's in the music business now too, and he got me onto that Medeski, Martin, and Wood stuff because he was into that kind of scene at that time.
Yeah.
He's not now, but that stuff was really cool. To that point I had not heard many bands or any groups like that, so that's cool stuff.
And then this is going to be the real left field one, and my last one I'm going to talk about and is Mike Love, not the guy from the Beach Boys, the reggae dude.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen anybody. I don't know if you know who he is, Justin. Mike Love. I don't know if you like reggae music.
Yeah, I do. I like Gregory. I like 70s reggae because it was more rock oriented.
Yeah,
not the dance hall 80s stuff kind of.
This Mike Love is a multi-instrumentalist type guy, and the stuff that I'll have to send you this one video of him doing this one piece live. He uses his feet to do all of his pedals, and then like he uses guitar for like rhythm stuff, for like bass, like it's just fucking insane. I'll have to show it to you. But Mike Love, he's an amazing player, amazing instrumentalist. So yeah, that's my left field.
Well, I think it's pretty much hit the.
I think we got a lot covered.
Fucking spectrum. Yeah, I think next time we'll have to cut it down to like 5. I was thinking doing like 5, but I was like, fuck it. We've done these podcasts before. Like we can run through it, and I look at it, I'm like, holy shit, 2.5 hours.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
No, dude, it's fine.
I'll make it this long. They're gonna shut it off like halfway through.
Some people are like, oh man, it took me like 4 days to watch the one episode. I'm like, oh well. But no, man, thanks guys for doing this, and we'll reconvene soon. Let's think of something else cool we can talk about. And
that's comeback albums.
What's up?
That's comeback albums. Our favorite comeback albums.
Fucking writing it down right now. Let's do it. I'm writing that down. Is that good for you?
Some research.
What's that?
That's gonna take some research.
Yeah. Is that good with you, Justin?
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl.
It doesn't have to be metal. It can be anything.
Anything.
Yeah. We'll figure something out.
But yeah, all right. Until then, get your shit ready. All right. Thanks. Later.